Hello, my friends. This is Bishop Zamekio Jackson. Listen, I am grateful and thankful. I don't do a lot of this, and I'm starting to do a whole lot more. I want to talk to you a little bit about the Inspired Television Network and what we do here for churches. Has it always been your desire? You said, hey, Bishop, I want to be able to reach the world. I've got content. I have information that I think I need to share. Whether you are the pastor or you are simply a fashion designer or a life coach or a counselor, or you've got a provocative show that deals with fashion and you want to engage the world, but you don't have the ability to spend copious hours preparing some type of show. You prepare the content, but you wish you had a hands-off experience where someone did the taping, someone did the editing, someone made you look, as I say, glossy. They did all of the work. Well, I want to invite you to become a broadcaster with the Inspired Network. The Inspired Network is a television network that is on Roku, Amazon Fire Stick, that we stream on dual platforms. That means your personal platform on all of your destinations we stream on, whether you're on YouTube or Facebook. We assist you by streaming the message that you are developing. Many of you have been asking me over the years, said, Doc, I would really like to be on your television network. Now, of course, we're getting ready for the new year, and we're signing people up for new slots. We have approximately, because we've opened the span of morning slots and the span of some evening spots. We've got about 5 evening spots available, and we have exactly 10 morning spots available. That's 15 spots that we have available on the Inspired Network. And that means that we're able to broadcast your message to the world. Now, you said, well, Doc, I don't have equipment. I don't have a cameras. I don't have any of those kind of equipment. Don't worry about that. We will do all of the heavy lifting. You come into our studios in Jacksonville, and we tape it all. You just bring your personship, and we do all of the other work. Now you say, well, Doc, I'm not in Jacksonville, Florida. I'm in Memphis. I'm in Chicago. I'm in a little town in Georgia or a little town in South Carolina, but I still want to do it. Listen to me. My staff can work with you at doing what I call remote taping. Now the question was asked to me. They said, well, if you remote tape me, couldn't I do it too and just stream my message out? I can tell you that you can, but I will tell you that with our help, you'll reach more people with the Inspired Network. We have over 250,000 subscribers on our network. Not only do we have that, we have a network of people that's working with us to help make the message that we preach go farther. And so whether you are a content provider and you're doing something new and you said, hey, I'm thinking about doing this thing. Well, listen to me. If you are a broadcaster, you have the option of going to a website once we sign you up and you pick the times weekly that you tape. Your taping time is not necessarily the time that you stream. We have a date that you can pre-tape your programming and we stream it just as though it is live and being done. So many pastors are saved, so many content makers. I've got people that do everything from hair designers that are showing their latest wigs they make or caps, when they put the weave in the cap, forget what you call that, lace fronts and all kind of things with cosmetologists that are promoting their thing, and makeup artists and counselors and psychologists and therapists and all these people and nurses and health shows and shows about transplants. I mean, we absolutely do it all, from medical shows to shows about biblical studies and knowing more about the Word of God. We've been very blessed to do it. We've catered to creme de la creme people, and we've catered to regular mom and pop operations that want to do it and want to do it right. You know, there's so many options out there since we've gotten into the business. I've watched many spawning television networks. Some are small, some are large, and they've got many of the promises. But one thing that I've always promised our people is that we have the ability to be consistent. We're going to be around. That's what we're going to be. 6 weeks, 6 days, 6 months from now, you'll be able to tune in and we'll still be here. We have promised and vowed to be consistent and to help you reach the market of people that we believe that God has called you to reach. You know, there's been so many wonders about the majesty and the magnitude of what we do. Some have wondered, how do we do what we do? Listen, one of the ways that we've been able to do that is simply a defrayed cost. The amount of production that we put in is really, we produce a broadcast that would have cost you hundreds of dollars per broadcast to create. Many of our friends have chosen to come on our network, allow us to tape it, and get the footage from our tapings and use it on other networks as well, because it looks just that good. Our stuff is amazing. The production, what the time, the energy we put in, making sure that we develop an effective broadcast is second to none. And for you, you say, well, I'm home. If you're going to take me, you're going to, what am I going to get, a remote camera or something? I'll take my broadcast from there. No, we're going to make sure that we use their various streamable platforms that will allow us to capture, and then we go in, we capture the raw footage of you doing what you do, and then we get in our editing suites with our editors and we make the spiritual magic come alive. We convert what looks like to be not good into something that's amazing. We have a recommended equipment list that we give you, some things that might enhance what you're doing, maybe some lighting here, a few things there. But we basically say we can start you with no equipment, almost up and running in 3 days, and have you ready to start reaching the world. Listen, my friend, our rates are very affordable, and what we do is extremely vast. If you've been asking yourself, how can I win the world? I go on my social media and I watch people do productions every day. And sometimes I look and I was like, oh my God, this is ridiculous. This is horrible. And a couple friends or family members watch them, and they watch them out of loyalty, or they just care. So they just keep watching you. But your production is horrible. You know, I don't understand how you can say that you're called to do God's ministry and you do it poorly. I want to give you the opportunity to be able to do it and do it effectively. Now, I watch and I look. I've had even people that have broadcasted with us. And they said to me, Doc, I got this. I think you've showed me enough, and I got it. And they start doing it. And I start looking at their productions, and I'm like, oh my God. Our thing is doing it with excellence. I didn't say with perfection, because there are going to always be areas of imperfection, even imperfection. But the spirit of excellence, that we give God glory. I've watched people that are doing things, and they're chroma keying and trying to go in programs like StreamYard and stuff, and then you can see as they lift their hand, the stag and all of that kind of stuff, and the hand is disappearing, and the production looks horrible. Um, I just don't think that if we're going to represent excellence, and I say this to some of my American brothers and sisters, let's do it right. You got a vision. You spent a lot of time on content, information. Don't drop the ball on production. Because if you got the right word, but you have the wrong presentation, you're going to lose the audience. Then on the flip side, some people have the greatest production, but they don't have the greatest word, and you flunk too. There is a mix between media and the mind of God as it relates to you spending time in the presence of God to present. Now, we do things like rap videos and secular shows. We've been able to do something that are really unique. They're not necessarily a Sunday morning. I've got some kickback from people saying, okay, Doc, why are you doing that? Plain and simple. I love secular shows. Secular shows cause secular people to watch, everyday people to watch. And then it opens the opportunity when we have spiritual shows for them to come on. So people get a chance to hear the gospel message that may not necessarily listen. Now, let me be honest with you in this respect. This is my personal belief. You may not agree with me. You may disagree with me. I believe the foundation of Christian television as it once was is dying. I was recently afforded the opportunity to realize that I love Paul and Jan Crouch. Loved them. Loved their ministry. The ministry of TBN was an amazing ministry and still is. But when the Crouches left, they were in debt. Plain and simple, because people do not look at religious stuff the way they used to. Now, my grandmother them would sit there and look at spiritual shows. I still remember listening to What a Fellowship, What a Joy Divine, leaning on the Fellowship Hour with Clay Evans. And my grandmother, we would nestle around the radio at a certain time on Saturday nights or Sundays and listen to Clay Evans. And I still remember listening to the Chicago stations and having our little wave radio that listened to the Chicago as they had Chicago Radio Church. Amazing times and listening. But the aptitude of listening to religiosity all day long is something that does not exist by and large the way it used to. So networks like the Word Network and many of those that are doing a great job, I think, at presenting the message, and TBN and Daystar, they're wonderful revival meeting channels, but people do not tune into them the way they used to tune into them. And conventional television is changing. Myself, we've been on conventional television in conjunction with our television network, and we've made a decision, hey, we're going to pull ourselves off of that because the effectiveness, we get more results from our network than we do from from the local television station, even with primetime spots. One of the things that we've noticed, and this is one thing I want to help you, the market is changing. The people are changing. The mindset is changing. This network will expand your reach and help you reach more people. Now, we're not the cosmopolitan one. We're not about a bunch of. We're not a network to rape people. So if you prophet raper, and you want to come and use our platform to take advantage of people, we're going to deter you away from that. But if you got quality programming, quality programming. Then quality programming doesn't mean have to be church programming. But you've got quality programming that's going to make the world a better place. I want you at the Inspired Network. There's a number on the screen. Now, it's a 1-800 number. Now, what does that mean? What does that mean? Y'all so big time? No, it's not that. If you call that number 24 hours a day, it will connect you with a sales associate from our team that will get a proposal over to you that'll help you become a part of this amazing network. each person we talk to kind of figure out what you're trying to do, so that we can figure out the best slots for you. You know, I have people come to me and they tell me, well, I want to be at such and such time. And I was like, that may not necessarily be the best time for you. But I know if you listen to us, we can help you. We offer a sundry. Now, there are some people that they're not on our network. They stream on their own Facebook format. They don't get on our network. And they use us to use the influence, like stuff like the Maximizer. We've got a product called the Maximizer. Now, this product allows us to send text blasts and email blasts out to people that are subscribers to us on Roku and Amazon and Fire Sticks and all those other formats that have signed up and that want to be a part of us. And we're able to do push alerts and let them know that you're on. And some people have chosen to do that. You know, they do that and they come on their own platform twice a week, and we promote them. And it's affordable. We do a whole lot to make sure that your message gets out and it reaches what I call the masses. So if your desire, you've been desiring to reach people, whatever that message is, you know, I'm now working with. I'm gonna make some statements, and there are two things that amaze me. I'm gonna tell you two stories that got me. One was recently there was a counseling program that we had on, and the person it came on after a repeat of a show that was, I believe it was Florida Swag or something like that. And Florida Swag is more an urban hip hop kind of show that deals with stuff that goes on in Florida and kind of political and all kind of stuff. And Gator Dread and some of those guys, you know, they deal with some pretty raunchy subject matters, which are really effective and really good. And so it was a repeat of Florida Swag, and then afterwards there was this counseling show. And so what was amazing is it was a gentleman that had left his wife, and the counselor began to talk about broken women. And for the first time, that guy caught a revelation of how broken his wife was. Conviction went back. He went home that day, back to that woman that day. And their marriage has, from what I understand, has been restored. The power of the Inspired Network. I've watched just miracle after miracle of people, lives being touched, their vision of reaching people. Now, how do you evaluate programming that reaches people? I can say it like this. So, from time to time, we're engaged in the marketing aspect of books that broadcasters have, and I was contacting with the holding company for the Inspired Network is Chrome Media. Chrome Media is our productionary company that produces all of our stuff. So Chrome Media is the production house. It's where we do movies, we do commercials, we build websites, we create all of these kinds of things for people. It's with Chrome Media Group, and it's a group of designers and creatives that come together. And it's Chrome Media Group. And so the Inspired Network is a design distribution house that has over 250,000 subscribers for people to be able to get their message out. Because what we had is we were producing great shows and great stuff and great content, but there was no distribution method for people to get the message out. they got this show and they said, "What do you want me to do with it?" We posted on YouTube, or they were posting in different places, and we wanted to create a platform that will work, and that's a miracle all within itself. I'll tell you how God did that with some real faithful people. Well, let me just put this plug in. Many of you knew that I was sick. I had a brain aneurysm, and speaking of brain aneurysm, we're praying for the Brant family. I was brought to my attention that one of them went home to be with the Lord by the way of an aneurysm. And aneurysms are very serious. I tell people that if you're having a headache, you're having uncomfortableness, don't lay down. Go get checked out immediately. I had a brain aneurysm, and it erupted in my head, and I bled for 6.5 days. I was given a second chance. I don't know why. I'm seeing the why, but it was a miracle that I lived. But I'm gonna say this to you, Noah, Natasha, Latasha, Eli, Kia, a couple others from my team, Blaze. They kept doing this thing called the Inspired Network, the platform, the things, the matrix of what we did, and Russell Taylor and many of those that were hosts, they kept doing it while we were recovering. I probably would have given up on some of the stuff we were doing, but they kept pushing. They kept pushing the product. They kept doing the same thing. Because, sometimes leaders, we start out something and it ain't working and we scrap it and we do something else. Well, I was laid up and they just kept pushing it. And people kept subscribing. People kept signing up. People kept becoming a part, which tells me that sometimes we give up on the vision too soon. And we needed a distribution place. And this was birthed probably because of the work of the Holy Spirit. The pandemic was great for us because people needed Roku's. They were stuck at home. They started downloading our app. They started looking. We started bamming. People started signing up. People started becoming interested. And we were birthed out of that. We came out of affliction. My personal affliction and the world's affliction was how we were born and birthed. But Chrome Media is the holding company for the Inspired Network. So let me tell you about Chrome Media. So recently, I was contacted by, and I'll leave the names out. I signed non-disclosure, non-compete, non-disclosure agreements with persons, not necessarily non-compete clauses, if you sever our agreement early. And so I was working with a political outfit and working with marketing, developing stuff. We actually develop a lot of stuff. A lot of times you see people streaming online and you see hundreds of people watching and stuff like that. There are over 62 broadcasters, 119 of them across the country that you see great numbers of people watching because we are drawing attention to them or they are connected with us. I mean, many times you won't see a tagline for us in the correspondence unless we're doing all of the production. So we're just doing it for a lot of people. And so, you're trying to build your social media, you're trying to make it bam, you need to come to us. A lot of smart people have gotten smart enough to say, I don't have time to work on that. I don't have time to figure this out. But those people at the Inspired Network, they know what they're doing. I'm going to go to them and let them figure it out for me and make me grow. I've had guys come to me on Monday, and by Wednesday night, I'm streaming their product, and they are having hundreds of people. And by the end of the night, they've got thousands of people that have viewed them when they were only seeing 50 people watching them before. I'm not telling you what I think. I can tell you what I can guarantee you. And I'll get back to that hopefully. If the mind remembers to tell me. So we started just kind of building this platform, and so I was working with a political candidate, and the political candidate told me I was in the middle of marketing, and he was building his polls were looking good, everything was doing good. That's one of the things I do is consulting work with stuff like that. And he came to me. He said, I'm so far ahead of everybody else and everything. My staff has told me my name is big enough, and I'm going to win this race. I said, yes, sir. He said, I'm going to terminate our contract. I said, sir, I don't think you want to do that. And it wasn't because I was threatening him or anything like that. I said, you ought to ride us out to the end of the election. I said, because if you do not, we're open because of our contract to go with the other person that's running as well. So the other person was so far down in the polls. I mean, when I said so far down in the polls, this guy has 75% of the market guaranteed to win. The other person had 25%, if that much. I picked up the phone. He says, do what you got to do. I mean, there's nothing you can do that can change this. This is a landslide. I said, yes, sir. What I know about Chrome Media and our marketing, I said, sir, I'm not sure you want to do that. He said, I am. I hung up the phone. So I did not call his competitor. Someone in his competitor's camp called us and reached out and said, hey, I hear you were the marketing company for whatchamacallit, and they cut you. I said, yeah, they cut us. And they said, well, would you like to dialogue? I said, well, let me give him a couple days. I reached back out to him and said, hey, they've contacted me. He said, do what you need to do, man. I mean, it basically says Gucci over here. It's fine. Do what you got to do. So I sat down with them and I worked with them. And of course, I can't reveal names and stuff like this, but I started working with them. My person that I work with, after being fired from the other person, beat the other person by a few hundred votes. It was just like, it was crazy because the person I was working with was a nobody. But you all know it is not what makes you great who you are alone, but it's who's on your team. We've got a marketing background. Listen to me. I understand what it means to market and to build a product. I don't pastor the biggest church in my city, but I have great influence in my city because of marketing. There are people that may do it better than me, may do it bigger than me, let me say it like that, but they won't do it better than me. I am a Magna Carta at this, at being able to do it. I oftentimes tell people, don't allow my standoffish personality and borderline jerkism because you'd miss the greatest blessing of your life. Listen to me. I have a unique calling. I am not called to be a great preacher. I may preach great sermons. I'm called to be a bridge. I tell people this all the time. I understand what people go through. My assignment in the body of Christ is solely to pull great people together and be a bridge. What a bridge does is I help you get there in half the time. Now, to get to our church, you got to come across the Matthews Bridge, okay? Now, you could swim across it, and it'll take you a while to get here. Mm-hmm. You can boat across it. It'll take you a minute to get across it. Or you can drive in your car across it on a bridge, and it takes you 3 to 5 minutes to get across, okay? It may take you hours to swim across the St. Johns River. Mm-hmm. A bridge is designed to help you get to it in half the time. You know, the funny thing about a bridge is that some people don't realize the benefit of it until it's gone. They don't realize how easy I make it for them until it's gone. And so my job is to help you maximize your assignment. So you say to me, Reverend, I gotta reach more people. I've got to do it. And maybe your budget's not where you want it. I don't have a budget of thousands upon thousands of dollars. I need you to contact me, okay? You tell me where you're at, honestly, not the hustler, because I don't do with hustle, deal with hustlers, but honestly, where you are. And what we try to do is assemble a thing to help you. That's branding. We're going to work with getting your photos done. We're going to work with changing your image, getting ready to get you at a level for next gen stuff. That's what we do. We are a full service development, image, marketing aspect. That's what we do. Many of you have been desiring to go to the next level, but you've not had anybody in your corner to help you get there. Now, as I have people tell me all the time, you say whatever you want to say about the old boy, but what you can't say is that we don't do excellent work. And you cannot say that we're not going to help you reach your purpose. Well, I guess I've talked for a while. I'm out of time. I've ran my mouth a while. I just wanted to come here and let you know that there are available spots. We've got places for you if you want to be on the Inspired Network. If you want to learn how to help us help you with your maximizer, reach more people on social media, YouTube, yada, 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 yada. We can help you do that. It's turnkey. You don't have to do anything. We do all the heavy lifting. You tell us where you're going, what your content is about. Weekly, let us know, hey, I'm preaching, I'm gonna do such and such, such and such, I'm dealing with such and such, and then give it to us. And let us take it over and let us drive the car for you. You know, we help hundreds of ministries across the country, even in other countries. And many of you have been trying to figure out, how can I do what I need to do? And Reddy, when I said we help them, I need you to understand something from it. You can keep doing what you're doing. Signing up with us will do the work behind the scenes for you. We do the heavy lifting. I need you to hear me. Someone said, well, God, I got to make all these changes. I'm gonna basically tell you, many of you don't have to make a lot of changes. You just need us to do work our magic. Put our little sprinkle on it. Touch it the way we need to touch it. If you're streaming on Sunday morning, give me the opportunity to maximize your viewership. I guarantee you don't believe me? Try me out a week. I'll run a special. I'll let you try me. I'll give you a specific amount. Try me one Sunday, one broadcast, and I guarantee you, I'll change who views, how many people view, and the expectation upon your ministry by working with us. I'm just that confident on what we provide. Some people talk it, others of us do it. That's what we do. Well, listen to me. If you're a content provider and you're looking to get your message out, you ready to win the world, you're ready to touch some people, put your baby in my hand. Let me help you. Let me help you birth what's inside of you. Whether you churchy or worldly. Now, there are some issues I won't touch. Secular, and if it's church-wise and you off the deep end, I won't touch you. If you worldly and you perverted, I may not touch you. Some things I'm not going to touch. But if your content is good and what you do makes the world a better place, here. I want to help you. I'm a bridge. Everybody got a ministry. Everybody got a purpose. My purpose is the bridge. I'm going to help you reach what God called you to do in a fraction. Because I'm the bridge God has created. Now watch this. The biggest enemy of many people is the spirit of procrastination. I'm going to call you. I'm going to do it next year. Don't do that. Call me today. Let's get the ball rolling today. Now, what does that mean? You may have to sign up today, freeze your time, freeze your slot, and you start next year. But you start somewhere. Do not allow the enemy to steal your right to do it right. The enemy of greatness is procrastination. For somebody, the first of the month is starting, the new year is starting, and you've been out there saying, I got to do this. I'm going to do it next year. Stop lying to yourself. You did it all year long. Let me help you. Let me help you become great. Let me help you touch the world. Thank you so much, my friend. I pray God's blessings be upon you. Heaven smile upon you. Whether you're seeing the repeat of this or you're seeing it on its first stream, because you know me, I'm probably going to play it 1,000,001 times because I believe that what we do is an amazing thing at helping the world become better, not bitter, wiser, not weaker, stronger, and effective. You've got a message. Let me put wings on your message so it can fly throughout the world.
Do you want to do a podcast, an actual video podcast, but don't have the equipment? Thought it would be impossible? Well, the impossible can become possible. Give us a call today. We can have your podcast on all of the major platforms in less than 3 days. Our staff is standing by to assist.